we're here to ruffle some feathers today in the football community, particularly the Scottish football community. We are looking at the Vice documentary, Football's Most Dangerous Rivalry. This deals with the rivalry between Celtics and Rangers. Both are Glasgow football teams. That, from what I've been told through my sources, is that Celtics are the Catholic team and Rangers are the Protestant team, and the Old Firm is no joke and is to be taken seriously. You're either on one side or the other. There's certain bars in Glasgow that are dedicated to either team, and if you are a member of the other team, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah, you don't go there. Yeah, that's just being smart, right? Well, I did the histories of football on both of these teams. The Celtic team as well as the Rangers. The guy didn't waste time talking about the rivalry. He talked about, because it was about the history of the teams. And so it's just interesting to see from the get-go, there was rivalry. From the very beginning, the rivalry was there. So it's like I want to say one of the oldest rivalries.
Yeah,
I'm going to be very
freaking old.
Or derbies, one of the oldest derbies.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, one of the oldest ones.
Yeah, I'm interested in this to see it come to fruition in front of me, because I really have stayed away from it. But now let's dive into it. This is the place to dive into it. We step
100%
on the toes here. So.
Yeah, we've done it with the Jimmy Savile one, the Britpop one, the Jeremy Clarkson one.
Yep.
So y'all know that's what we do on Saturdays. Because of my source, I do have an allegiance here, but you're just gonna have to watch to the end to find out what one it is.
All right, let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
There's a guy lying in bed, a Catholic Celtic fan in that, right? He's lying in bed, he's total dive, last legs in that, right? They're like, oh, his family around and that, so any last requests of obviously what's happened, the guy's like, I want to become a proddy. And I'm like that. Family like that. What? Excuse me? What? They're like, honestly, oh no, that's really what I want to do. So they get a minister in, the minister comes in, converts him to a Protestant, a Rangers fan and that. And the family like that. Dad, why would you want to do that? Because see if I die, that's one less proddy bastard to worry about,
Oh,
In late winter 2011, I travelled north from London to Glasgow to get an up-to-date look at one of the oldest rivalries in world football. The sectarian divide that splits Rangers and Celtic has its roots in things that happened across the Irish Sea centuries ago. Today, the hatred is just as strong and continues to split the city in two.
I definitely think people do see themselves in the context of Old Firm as either green or blue, Catholic, Protestant, British or Irish.
I think at the end of the day, though, there is a sort of mutual respect for each other's fans.
So what do you think of Rangers fans?
Scumbags.
Celtic fans, I think they're crass, disrespectful, and definitely Irish.
Rangers fans are they don't know who they are. They get brought up to hate.
The kind of lunacy that you get with Celtic, why you would seek out, the company of people who are mentally disturbed, has always been a bit of a mystery to me.
I bumped into a Celtic fan with one shoe on. I went, "You've lost one shoe, you stupid cunt." He went, "No, I've not, I found one."
The songs I've heard sung at football matches in the last 2 seasons that have no place in Belfast in the 21st century, never mind Glasgow.
Follow, we will follow Rangers. Anywhere, everywhere, we will follow on. Dundee, Hamilton, fuck the Pope and the Vatican. If they go to Dublin, we will follow on.
All right, so from the first 2.5 minutes of this, here's what I've gathered. That not only do they absolutely hate each other, apparently there's history, deep history, and it has to do with English versus Irish.
Yeah.
With the Rangers, I guess, being of English pedigree and the Celtics being obviously of Irish pedigree.
Man, this is, oh man, it's, how do I say this? Whenever you add, I would say religion aspect to a rivalry aspect, boy, You have the makings of something that is not necessarily fun. Like,
hell no.
Pretty intense. Like it takes it to a 10. You know, before with I think we're pretty well versed in like derbies and how intense the hooliganism and the ultras are, right?
Yeah.
And add freaking religious views to that. It's like, holy crap. Like,
yeah.
Talk about a ticking time bomb, which is not a reference in any way, shape, or form. But yes, I'm just saying it's the perfect mixture for something.
Yeah, and I feel like this will be a little more intense because of the historic part of it. Then again, we could also dive into like, you know, the divide in Liverpool's teams, both Liverpool FC and Everton, or also Manchester's teams, Man City, Man United. Maybe that's a topic for another time, but
maybe
this is what we're focused on today.
Yep. Yeah. Let's do it, man. Oh my God.
Living in England gives you a very black and white impression of the old firm. If the cliches about Celtic fans are true, they're all Pope-obsessed IRA gun runners. And if you're a Rangers fan, you're probably a right-wing Protestant who only smiles when you think of the Queen. Of course, these cliches don't tell the whole story. This is a complicated hatred, but one thing both sides seem to agree on is that they should be allowed to hate. The Scottish Parliament feels differently, and has just passed a new bill aiming to make songs about Huns and Fenians a thing of the past. In Glasgow, there were murmurings of money problems at Rangers that threatened to make the old firm itself a thing of the past. But on my first visit to the city, it was time to get a tour. I met Joe Miller, founder of Celtic fanzine Not The View.
This is a traditional route that Celtic fans will walk up to Celtic Park. This is called the Gallagate. It's a very kind of strong Celtic area. This used to be massive Irish community here. Celtic Park, paradise we call it.
After watching Celtic fans bond with the players, we headed over to Rangers' home, Ibrox, in the west of the city.
This area here is Bridgeton. This is where my father's from, in fact, and it's a massive Rangers area.
Do you ever hang out here?
Oh no, God no. Glasgow is, you walk into a pub, anything can happen, you know, it's just the nature of this city, it's very hard. I got a kicking once going to Ibrox. I got a sore one right between the legs. This is Paisley Road West. Just hold your breath here, guys. It's coming up to Ibrox, you'll probably smell it.
Have you got a name for Ibrox?
Oh, yeah, Castle Grayskull, the Hunnery, Ship Pit.
Oh my God.
At Ibrox, we found our first proof that the rivalry extends beyond Scotland's borders. It came in the form of a friendly German football bigot. When did you first start liking Rangers?
First game was in '86.
Okay. What do you think of Celtic?
Oh, Fenian bastards. Shouldn't say that on camera. You just shamed the whole of Germany.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
The next day we went to meet a man named Mark Dingwall, who runs Rangers fanzine Follow Follow.
Obviously, because of the background, it means more to more people, I think, than some of the rivalries that you would get down south. But it's not really quite as serious, I think, as it's often portrayed in documentaries, where, because of the religious side of things, they try to make it out as though Glasgow is a sectarian hotbed.
Yeah.
I think that's a myth.
Maybe Dingwall's right, and the idea of Glasgow as a furnace of sectarian hatred is a false one. But pretty much every flag we saw for sale on match day referenced the old troubles in Ireland.
Well, it's about their culture. I mean, if you look at the links between Scotland and Ireland, we've had, over the last 200-300 years, we've probably had about 1 million people immigrating to Scotland from Ireland and vice versa. So you do have this culture. My view would be that a lot of the media and a lot of the political class, they only want to concentrate on what they would perceive as violence and bigotry. They don't actually want to look at the positive aspects of that, or in fact the historical reality.
What do you think of this phrase, 90-minute bigot?
I think it fairly well sums up what happens at Old Firm games. This is the release valve for mainly working class people at the end of the week, because they go to the football, they can say what they want, do what they want, have a drink, have a laugh, be loud and boorish in a way that they aren't during the rest of the week.
That's why football is therapeutic over there. That's why, like, I get that. The 90-minute bigot. I get that. Like, that's your release valve. That's you pent up all that shit. Where else would it go if it wasn't for the football game? It'd probably end up at home. In the home life. That's not good. In the office, that's not good. In the bar, pub, it's a place for people to decompress.
Right. Let loose for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And which is thing of any, sport that would be seen as lower class here in the States, like wrestling, NASCAR, even, American football.
Yeah.
It seemed as, rednecky and very crass, but most of the time, that's their release. And it's healthy to get it out that way.
Yep.
And I used to think that it was just really phony to only be that way 90 minutes out of the week at a match or something, but now I get it. Like, you can't be doing like that all the time, and it's good to have that outlet.
Yes, those chants end there. For the most part, they end there.
They do.
no one's at the Tesco's chanting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
Not at least. I'm just trying to buy some cheeseburger makings. I don't want to be chanting while I'm trying to find cheese.
Yep. Man, but no, it's a good insight, man. This documentary, I want to see how middle of the road it is to make sure it's like not biased, because that's a hard thing to do. Be unbiased when it comes to football.
Yeah.
And
right now I'm being completely unbiased right now.
Yeah.
The next day, I jumped on the train north to Dundee to meet Joe Miller and some of Celtic's loyal away support.
It wouldn't bother me the more if they went bust. And it was a big Tesco earlier. I would gladly shop in it.
It is a kind of religion to folk. It is, because you turn out every week. Glasgow's got a strong Irish community, but we couldn't express yourself in the community. There's no St Patrick's Day parades or celebrations. A woman once said to me, and she goes, "Are you one of those Fenians?" And I was actually taken aback. She labelled me a Fenian, and that basically...
Was it a girl that you were trying to crack onto, or an old woman in the shops? Or...
it was an older woman. Yeah. I was still trying to crack her as well.
Okay, the term Fenian has come up a lot of times, and I just want to be sure I know what the devil it means.
Before we regurgitate that word.
In Oxford Languages, Fenian, noun, a member of the 19th century revolutionary nationalist organization among the Irish in the US and Ireland. The Fenians staged an unsuccessful revolt in Ireland in 1867 and were responsible for the isolated revolutionary acts against the British until the early 20th century, when they were gradually eclipsed by the IRA. So
a historical nickname.
There's another definition here. Now it's an offensive word for a Catholic culture. Some people, especially Protestants in Northern Ireland, use the word Fenian as an offensive way of referring to a Roman Catholic. So it's an a derogatory word for a Catholic person.
So it's a religious slur.
Yeah, it's a religious slur. That's what it is. All right, we got that figured out, y'all.
That label was right away I'm a Celtic fan, I'm a Catholic, I'm an Irish Republican. Now these are all the labels that are tied in with that. Yeah. And I might not have been any of them other than a Celtic fan.
Celtic fans, there is this cult of victimhood. On the one hand, then the other hand, they want to be the tough guys, they want to support the IRA and push people around. I would say that Celtic in the last 5 to 10 years are probably more Catholic, more Irish and more Republican.
Do you think that Rangers fans and Celtic fans are sort of inherently different people? Maybe because of their upbringing or...
We're more open, I think. When the Rangers fans go abroad, they go on the rampage. When we go abroad, we're probably up singing and dancing and having more fun and making friends.
Do you have friends that are Rangers fans?
Acquaintances.
I've acquaintances that would be nominal Celtic fans, but general delusions about persecution, about being member of the IRA, about claiming that your grandfather fought in the General Post Office against the British, that your granny was raped by the Black and Tans. I mean, this is not really the type of people that you want to associate with.
We saw a sticker up at Ibrox, just had a picture of the Union Jack and said "Love it or leave it."
Yeah, well, we're told to go back. Their famous shout is "the famine's over, why don't you go home?" I'm Scottish.
Oh my God.
I live here. I like this country.
Do you think the bill will help?
The bill won't help that because it's just attacking football fans. It's a culture out there that has to be changed.
Celtic! Come on, you boys and green! Come on, you boys and green! Glasgow's green and white! Glasgow's green and white! Glasgow's green and white! Glasgow's green and white! Celtic! Celtic! Caravan!
All right, that's a clip right there.
There it is. Okay, that's all you need to say. I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not that different all across the world. There's sports fans particularly in Philly and Boston that do the exact same thing. Man on the street type interviews. Yeah, they would do that too.
Yep. 100%.
So come on.
Recording crappy footage on my phone, I made my way into the ground where Celtics fans were going through their repertoire. They didn't seem too worried about falling foul of the anti-sectarian bill. I'd made an appointment to see Nil by Mouth, a charity based in Glasgow that wants to eradicate sectarianism from Scottish life. It was set up after a 15-year-old Celtic fan died after having his throat cut on the way home from a match.
I came to university in Scotland in 1999 and I went to watch an Old Firm football game in the Student Union's bar, and I heard this shocking taunt, which was 6 million Jews and it should have been Protestants. How many layers of ignorance do you have to get through to come out with that type of stuff? People have often put to me the idea that in Scotland we have 90-minute bigots. Now, that kind of idea. For 90 minutes we go, we watch football, we taunt the other sides, we use these kind of words, and then we go back to our kind of life. Does that make you a 90-minute racist? Does it really? We all have to have laws, and we have to have kind of boundaries as what is acceptable behaviour and what is not. And if you don't have that, then it's a bit of a free-for-all. People can do what they want as and when they want.
This is Abdul Rafiq, a Muslim Rangers fan who's banned from football matches for 5 years for singing anti-Catholic songs.
So how was the sort of banning order affected your ritual? So I imagine it must have been a pretty big part of your life before.
Yeah, I used to go to all the Rangers matches, but now to suddenly not be allowed to go to matches, it's had a big effect on me,
Yeah.
And I just don't think the punishment fits the crime. It's just for singing songs,
Yeah.
I was just singing like the follow songs, but there was some added on words where you're not supposed to sing.
Okay. What were they like?
Like the Dundee Hamilton F the Pope in the Watercan, that one.
The banning orders made Abdul a pretty famous guy. He's well known both in the streets of Glasgow and on the internet.
Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside, and I do like to be beside the sea, with a hammer in my hand, feeding bashing on the sand beside the seaside, beside the sea.
I've got friends that are Celtic fans, so it's only a game, it's only a bit of banter. I've got to sign in at a police station in the first half of every Rangers game for the next 5 years.
Wow.
So I'm on my way just now.
Abdul's also famous for being the only Muslim member of right-wing nationalist group, the English Defence League.
If you're born in Britain, then it's natural to like your country. The flag of my country is red, white and blue, and Rangers playing that colours. I don't go to the mosque to pray 5 times a day or anything, but I'll still like be a good person, Yeah. That's being religious as well. I'm a good person, I'm good to accept everybody, so that's being religious. So I would say I'm a religious in a way.
Okay. Do you think you get picked on because Rangers is, traditionally a very Protestant club?
Well, because of my connection with the EDL and the SDL, and then the police recognise me, so I do get picked on by the police, you know. That day I got arrested at a football match, and obviously I was recognised, you know. Yeah. And it was a high-profile match because we were playing Chelsea, and the Chelsea fans were there chanting my name.
Really?
Yeah.
What were they singing?
They were just chanting Abdul EDL. I have had a few racist remarks from Rangers fans, just a few, but you're always going to expect a few anyway.
Man, that's a hot topic, you know.
Yeah.
Singing the songs with the offensive words. It's like it's a hot topic here. Like,
yeah,
us as white people, can we, if we go to karaoke, do we sing rap songs that have the N-word in them?
Probably not.
Definitely not. So
it's something that is going to take eons to solve. There's no quick solve.
There's no quick overnight fix to it. And is there a desire to have it fixed? Because it's a balance between, you know, being a decent person, not hurting people, but also letting people cut loose, let them blow off steam for 90 minutes.
As long as they're not killing people. You know, the good thing that we've seen is like hooliganism. That was the issue. People were actually putting other people's lives in danger during like big derbies. So that has been cut back a little, at least from what we've read in the comments, what we've seen through our various movies, right? Stuff like that. Like, it's been cut back a little, not as extreme. So it's slowly changing that way. And there's a lot of the old heads that don't like the new watered down change, but also the new people that are coming up in the sport and the culture that is the way it's supposed to be done now. So I think it's just a matter of just going through the years with it.
The argument in favor of, like, is this violent or not? Like, this one dude that you showed before, the Muslim dude, was started an organization because 15-year-old Celtics fan was cut in the throat for whatever reason. So that's always going to rear its ugly head. You know, that's always going to be a part of this type of thing.
Yeah. I feel like evil people are always going to do evil things regardless.
Right. You can't stop them all, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
No. I get that. But at the same time, it's not like if the seating capacity is 60,000, half of them are Celtic, half of them are Rangers, not like the other 30,000 slit everyone else's throats. You know, it's just
exactly.
It was an isolated incident of fucking murder. You know, that's terrible. But anyway, it's just something that we're not going to solve here, that we're not going to probably solve in our lifetime. So it's just interesting to unpack and see that this issue is an issue there. At sporting events, we're well versed in this issue right here. Yeah. Like this hot topic.
Yeah, it certainly is not an issue that's going to be solved in the comments section.
Hell no, but they'll try. They'll
try anyway. I'm sure some already have.
Good on you. Good on you. Hopefully it works.
Yeah, go outside.
As Abdul lapped up the attention outside Ibrox, keeping the rain off his head with his Union Jack umbrella, I couldn't come to think of him as a spiteful guy. It just seemed like he wanted to be part of something, even if that something had turned him into a football bigot who hangs out with fascists.
What is it that you identify with EDL?
Well, the EDL are against extremism. They're against all sorts of extremism. They're not against just Muslims, they're against all, even the Catholics, IRA and that. And I'm born and bred in Britain and I love my country, so I'm against any sort of extremism, you know. And they're open to anybody, they're not racist and that.
Do you not buy the argument that they are themselves racist people, the EDL?
But if they were racist, they wouldn't have me with them.
Do you think they might be saying one thing and doing another, trying to hide maybe the fact that they are racist by...
Well, they're asking me to bring more Muslims to join up.
Okay.
And when we're walking down the street, they don't shout abuse at Muslims, they actually say to them, come and join us.
Yeah.
How's it going?
All right.
Are you banned for stop on Ibrox?
Aye.
Are you?
I'm back with EDL, but he was from EDL.
Don't let them video you.
No, it's alright, they're not going against it, alright.
Fucking put it against you.
No, it's alright.
Abdul's mates didn't seem to like our cameras all that much, so to avoid a beating, we went elsewhere.
Oh shit.
How does it make you feel when you see?
Well, when you see that, you know, it makes me look out. It makes me look out to be as if I'm a Catholic hater or something. But that's not the case, you know, because I just think that as banter.
We are lonely boys. We're up to our knees in faith. You must surrender or you'll die. For we are arrested Valley boys.
Another notorious Rangers celebrity who's against the bill is Sandy Chugg. Sandy was one of the stars of the Scottish football violence scene of the 80s and 90s. He led Rangers' terrifying intercity firm into battle many times.
As much as I dislike Celtic songs, the IRA songs and that, I will defend our rights to sing them. The product's not great, the crowds are dwindling, and they want to lock up people for trying to provide a wee bit of atmosphere at football.
Finish! Well done, good. Keep it going.
As far as we know, Sandy isn't a hooligan anymore. Instead, he spends his time here, training kids at this school in Glasgow's East End.
Come on, Mohan, wrap your feet round it, come on.
I started playing about 8-year-old, then was picked up with Rangers at under 14 level, spent 2 years there. Unfortunately, wasn't good enough to make the grade. Other things in my life at the time as well, the casual scene.
Yeah.
I was finding it was a lot better football casual than what I was a football player.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a sidetrack.
Do you regret that at all?
No, I liked, see, to be honest, I loved the scene. It was the biggest youth culture explosion, in my opinion, since the mods. Boys from Yeovil to Inverness were involved in fighting each other, fighting the law. To be part of that, looking back, although I wouldn't say it makes me proud. I'm sort of glad that I was involved in it. I was lost to the rave generation for about 2 or 3 years. That was the next new wave of youth culture. It led me to 3 years in prison for dealing in LSD and ecstasy. That's my major regret in life. My one ambition was to be a Royal Marine and blew that out of the water.
Goodness.
I want to prove to the parents that despite my past, I'm the best person to coach your kid.
Even though a minority have complained about Sandy's past to the school, he didn't seem too worried about reliving it in front of the parents and their kids. When you see your picture next to words like scum and thugs and, you know, wrecking the good name of the Tartan Army, I mean, how did that make you feel?
In a strange way, I was slightly proud to be recognised. But when I look back, and I'm looking back on a lot of stuff here, I'm kind of saying, nah, it wasn't really one of your cleverest moments in your life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's something to look back on. It's maybe some people have maybe photo albums.
Yeah. I mean, was football violence an addiction for you, do you think?
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, no matter how hard I tried to walk away, I always seem to get dragged back in. A lot of people like the camaraderie. I like the violence, I'll be honest. I'm not going to beat about the bush, I like the violence.
So what for you is the biggest misconception that people have about the Glasgow football rivalry?
I think the biggest misconception is that it is primarily a religious aspect. In my own personal opinion, I believe it's now turning into a national identity.
Okay.
It's Scottish, British, or you're Irish.
Oh shit.
That guy going mad with a bin is Sandy's old sparring partner, John O'Kane. John was one of the founding fathers of the Celtic soccer crew firm. His life with the Casuals saw him up before the judge 66 times. I'd arranged to meet him in a pub across town. Was there, when you were fighting more, that kind of unwritten, unspoken code?
After the Scotland game, we had a fight with Partick Thistle, and there was a few of them on the grounds after it, and the rest of them had run away, and we've got them up, made sure the guy's okay, and things like that. Do you know, you're right, mate, all your mates have fucked off and left you, just make sure you're okay. It's an unwritten sort of rule. A fight's a fight.
Does that mutual respect extend to Rangers fans?
No.
Oh shit!
Certainly not. Because I've been stabbed, like ear cut off by Rangers and things like slashed so many times. Like, they actually threw one of our boys off a bridge near Ibrox Stadium.
Oh shit!
Onto the M8 motorway.
The big guys with him were from Shebeen, Glasgow's premier Republican band and lifelong Celtic fans.
I got 4 green fields, each one was a jewel.
Nil by mouth is the worst. They're just, they don't live in the real world. Celtic singing the Fields Are For Now and them singing the famine song.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who really cares about it? It's a bit of banter.
And my 4 green fields ran red with their blood, said she.
Do you feel like Shebeen might be under threat from the bill?
Well, if they come in and arrest me or Alan for singing songs of Ireland, and then I'm a political prisoner, in my view.
Satanism is divisive. Republicanism is about unity.
And my 4 green fields will bloom once again, said she.
The 2 points I'm getting from that last segment are the religious undertones of it are played up a little too much.
Yeah.
And away, both of these clubs will cause some damage.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what it is, right? That's kind of what it always is like the religious aspect, like that's okay. They're there for the sport and just the banter and the ensuing fighting, because that's the style, that's the life, that's the culture, right?
Yeah.
They're not going after you because, let's say, you're Catholic or Protestant. They're going after you because of the team you support. That's it.
Right. That's it.
That's it. No, nothing deeper than that. The color of your shirt is why we are fighting, basically.
Right. And I appreciate that one ex-Ranger hooligan coach's honesty. He's like, yeah, I came because I wanted to beat someone up.
Yep. And I feel like there was a lot of people then that just were like that. Let's go to the fights and see a soccer game or a football game. You know?
Yeah. I went to a fight and a soccer game broke out.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We had already met Celtic men in pubs. Now it was time to meet Rangers men in pubs. And they were all men. I've never seen so many tough-looking guys as those that poured out of Ibrox subway station on match day. Most of them called in at the Loudon bar en route to the ground.
There's a guy over there just being led away by police, and I think he's one of the 2 guys that came up to us just now outside the Loudon bar and started harassing us. They didn't like the camera or my accent very much. Called me an English wanker, which is difficult to deny. Then his mate came over and started shoving me and grabbing the camera stuff and kicked me. So yeah, I guess he's been having a bit more fun inside the stadium as well.
As I walk round just ring the bell and a big bang and tail and a big all the colour lights can see.
I think 99% of the Rangers and the Celtic fans are well behaved. I think they get a bad press because it suits the politicians.
Yes, it played and it played all the time. Up and spend the last time.
I've no animosity towards anyone, including Celtic fans. I'm not a lover of their club. I think their club is corrupt and always has been since the day it was formed. But I mean, that's only my opinion. I'm allowed it. I'm Scottish and I'm proud to be Scottish. I'm not born in Glasgow and some sort of pseudo-Irishman. I don't know where they get that from.
Step up and praise the machine, sing to say, as I walk round the mountain in your way. Just ring a bell on a big bag of tail and the wind all the colour lights can stay. And music play.
The Rangers fans we'd met had been disappointed that so far we'd only been shown around the city by a Celtic fan. So they told us to seek out Dark Horse. Rangers fan, cab driver, raconteur.
She says to the next stop driver, I said, what fast, I need a toilet. She said, can I stop the motorway? I said, the garage about a quarter mile up. She says to no, you need to stop. She said, if you don't stop, I'll piss your seat. I told her I'd punch her cunt in, that's what I said to her. So she didn't piss the seat. I've took a lot of people like to the hospital after the Rangers Celtic game, after the derbies. And it's a pretty bad sight, you know. Yeah. Mostly slashings, bottles, knives, mostly. The last Rangers game, I picked up 2 fellas in the town and they were telling us they were up with their kids and 2 Celtic fans that attacked the father in front of the kid.
Wow.
Man.
So what I'm noticing right now is the scar on this dude's face. What I've been told from my source is that could be a Glasgow smile. Do you know what that is?
Why would I know what that is, dude? No
I'm just
idea.
asking because that many gangs in Glasgow will give you a scar going from like here down to your mouth as a sign of like gang of the gang. And
okay.
A lot of times it was a sign of being a member of said gang, or that you were attacked by a certain member of said gang. I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure I'm leaving a lot of details out about that, but
that's kind of confusing.
Yeah,
you're either attacked by a gang or in a gang. That's like completely opposite things. But yeah,
some are proud of their Glasgow scar, and which is what the Joker has.
Yeah.
That's totally what that is. It's a Glasgow smile.
Oh, all right, cool. There's
and
that.
This dude has it, so I'm assuming he's been in some shit.
Yeah, or it could just be he got hit in the face with a bottle, and the one side of the face.
Yeah, maybe.
That was the last Rangers of the game. So there you go.
Oh, so that was the last one because they were English. Holy crap. Well, imagine us as Americans going to that. Ugh.
Well, I mean, we don't have a dog in the fight, and we're just outsiders.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, it's just like if you're dumb enough to go to one of those things where we don't belong, yeah, you deserve it. Hit the weights, get fit, learn how to fight before you go there. Don't just like, I'm just an American. Oh yeah, don't do that over there.
Yeah, don't do that, and try not to talk too much. Your accent will come out.
Yep, just don't go to that match. Just miss that one.
Miss that.
There's a lot of them. Term. Yeah, miss that match.
If you're a supporter of either one of them, go when they're playing anybody else.
Anybody else. Yep.
Yeah.
On Derby Day, Glasgow was buzzing, and pubs were rammed with both sets of supporters. These fans had travelled all the way from the Falls Road in Belfast to watch the Crunch match at Celtic Park. One man who wouldn't be attending the match, however, was Abdul Rafiq, whose anti-Pope banter earned him a banning order.
Can you remember your first Derby Day memories?
That's going back about 30 years.
Yeah.
At that time you were able to sing what you wanted. There used to be much more trouble at that time, and there was more singing.
Do you prefer that kind of more resentful atmosphere?
Yeah, definitely, because the atmosphere is what makes that. It's the biggest club match in the world, and what makes it special is the atmosphere. But it's just a game, and to me it's a bit of banter.
Stick your right hand out and you punch a pig about. You need to cap the bastard when you get him down. That's what it's all about.
I've found some examples of anti-Celtic, anti-Catholic stuff. Is it okay if I show you?
Yeah.
You can tell me whether they're banter or not, or whether they cross the line. Jungle Boys against reporting paedophiles. So that's alleging that, you know, Celtic fans are all part of some big Catholic paedophile ring. Is that too far, or is that banter?
I'll just put that down in banter.
Yeah, just banter. Another sweeping child abuse under the carpet since 1972.
I'll just put that in banter.
How about that? A Celtic fan making a monkey sign at El Hadj Diouf.
Some people will take that serious, but other people just look at that as banter, you know.
Okay, so that's 50-50. That's on the line.
50-50.
Okay. So there's a fan attacking Neil Lennon.
Well, that's obviously gone too far, because he should never have come on the pitch to attack, you know. I know a lot of Rangers fans don't like Neil Lennon, but I've met Neil Lennon myself, and he said he doesn't mind all the abuse he gets, but he doesn't like it when somebody comes to attack him on the street or whatever.
Celtic will get fucked up the arse like what those Catholic priests did to little kids. Hashtag paedophiles.
Just banter.
Yeah,
just saying
It's
it.
child abuse. So, I don't know, is that... Alright, well that's the end of the bantometer.
The only bit I see over the line there was when Neil Lennon's getting attacked. When they're actually violence, when they're fighting each other, that's when it's over the line. But when they're just singing and taunting one another, I don't see why the police should bother moving in. Let them have their fun.
All the pedophile chants and banters. No wonder Jimmy Savile creeps into those chants.
Yeah,
a lot.
But I mean, it's just like no secret to what that organization has done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just banter.
Right. Which organization? Let's clarify it for everybody
the
here.
The Catholic religion.
Okay. Yeah.
It's no secret.
Right. It's not a secret.
Across the globe, it's no secret.
Right.
You know?
It's not. That's right.
So it's just like you get this, like, okay, I get that. Like, haha, it's just saying what everyone has been seeing on the news for the past ever.
Right. Everyone knows it. It's not it's not news.
Yeah. I mean, it's not news, but I'm with them with the attacking. Like, no, that's eons over that line. That should never be crossed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, banter is banter until it turns into physicality. But this it's the mentality, man, of these of this is their freaking religion. You know, the only religious aspect I see of these two teams is the sport. That is the religion, and it's funny because it's the same religion, just different sides.
Yep, exactly. That's gonna get us some comments.
Well, I mean, the one thing I've noticed, it's just you have to be a fan of football first, and then you get the tribalism.
Right.
But if you can agree about football and respect the game of football, then everything else has its place. Like I just feel like that's where you have that balance of agreeing, okay, let's go watch a match because the match is the most important thing.
Looking for some of that fun that Abdul mentioned, we headed down the Gallowgate to the Barrows, the Celtic stronghold in the east of Glasgow. There, we ran into ardent Celtic fan Johnny and talked to him about Derby Day in the city.
So we're in the Barrows on the day of the match. What's it usually like around here on match day, on Derby Day specifically?
Today it'll be busy, very early. There'll be a lot of Celtic fans congregate early, a few beers. Obviously just excited about the game ahead. It's an area predominantly with all Celtic fans, Republicans, you name it.
Is that kind of safety that you get here, knowing that you can drink in these with Celtic colours on, does that change on Derby Day? Will there be Rangers lads up here later looking for a fight?
There's every chance, but I can't remember in the last few years anyway that I've drank here that any Ranger fans or loyalists have came down here and they achieved that. Even came down here, the last thing was a wee story we spoke about the last time we met, which was nothing to do with Rangers, mad. It was just another bunch of right-wing fascists that thought they would come down here and start their nonsense, and they just got a kick up the backside and sent home.
So what happens if the Rangers fans do come up here later and they're looking for a fight and the word gets around?
Well, this is the difference. I mean, looking for a fight's one thing. A Rangers fan walking down here just with a Rangers top on, nothing would happen. Even they get dragged off the streets and brutally butchered in the middle of an alleyway. I'm sure the vast majority of Rangers fans would just like to stay in Rangers pubs, listen to music that celebrate their culture and whatnot, as opposed to coming down here looking for trouble.
Is it good conditions for a fight today, with the wind howling and the rain lashing down?
Excellent conditions.
All right then. Perfect day.
Oh Father, why are you so sad on this bright Easter morn, when Irishmen are proud and glad of the land that they were born?
Alright, Sandy. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, sound.
Good.
Sound.
How you feeling today?
Nervous.
Yeah.
That's been 3-4 days, the anticipation, so just can't wait to get it on.
I read in your book about, was it Mr. Blue when he stormed the Gallowgate? Were you there then?
Yeah. Well, basically, we used to meet in a pub called Minstrels down at the waterfront, and somebody came up with a bright idea one day Mum will go up the Gallagate. Now anybody that knows the Gallagate knows it's probably the most no-go area for Rangers fans. 40 was decided to go up one day. 40 turned into 20. All the Celtic pubs emptied, their Celtic casuals came out, your John O'Kane's and that. He was, again, John as usual was quickly putting his backside. But it was pandemonium.
Do you think there'll be anything like that today?
For any young boy who wants to get involved in football violence these days, I kind of shake my head and with a wry smile, knowing like the surveillance techniques and that they're up against. It's not like you can go and have a row in the middle of the city centre now. And if you do that, you're in camera, you're getting your door booted in 6 weeks later, and you're looking at a year, 2 year prison.
So you mentioned John O'Kane.
I mean, I've got a lot of respect for John as a boy, because he's a game lad. He may get put in his arse a lot, but he gets up every time and wants to have another go at you. So hats off to him for that, you know what I mean?
So whereabouts are we now? Whereabouts in Glasgow?
This is Broomielaw or Quay Street. It was always a good place for having a battle because of the one-way system that used to be. It's easy to get away from police.
Have you yourself been caught up in any trouble around this area?
Well, because I lost my life one night here after a Celtic Rangers game. Just about those traffic lights there, that's where the Rangers mob have lined up, and we've lined up here, and we've charged into each other. As I've charged in, as they can of CS gas, it sprayed it, but there was none left. And in front of me was a guy brandishing a knife. So as I've turned, he's got me at the top of the leg, and I staggered along the road, fell in a heap. My legs were, my trousers were crimson, basically. And my mates had stopped a taxi. The taxi driver had actually stopped and dragged me in. And I was like, what's wrong, panicking? And he took me to the hospital. If I hadn't taken me to the hospital, I'd burst a major artery.
Oh, wow.
And touch wood, I wouldn't probably be here if it wasn't for the taxi driver's quick actions.
Yeah.
But again, scary thing.
Do you find that the trouble nowadays is more chaotic and less organised than it used to be?
When it comes to Celtic Rangers games, there seems to be more sporadic violence where you've just got groups of Rangers and Celtic fans just want to have a go at each other.
With kick-off fast approaching, we travel to Denny, 20 miles outside of Glasgow, where some excited Celtic fans had hired a lodge for a pre-match piss-up and a sing-song.
One show in town tonight. It's been bubbling up for 4 or 5 weeks, and this is what it's all about. Getting the Huns and the Rainback gear and giving them a good scene.
Really many mates that are Rangers fans?
No really, no.
No? You keep it at arm's length?
Aye, further than that.
As you know, we hate the Rangers, absolutely hate them. So just come in, a few drinks, listen to their banter, kennelled up, and off to the
Come on, you boys in green.
I think a Rangers fan, he basically think a guy about 18 stone, with a big handlebar moustache, with greasy hair. He hadn't been washed for about 2 or 3 weeks. And I don't know if he's familiar with the Orange Walk, but he'd be the boy banging the big drum.
See like Rangers pubs and that, they've only got a capacity of 25 because they're that big. Can they get in? You know what I mean? They enjoy a munch. Do you know the difference between an apple and an orange? Can I get an apple bastard?
the jungle, the mighty jungle at Parkhead, you know. Well, if it wasn't somebody chucking a ball at your head, it was somebody pissing on your leg, eh? Yeah. But as long as you win, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's to protect you from
that's correct, for the balls,
down.
but there's fuck all to protect you from someone pissing on your leg.
So the local area, your head's intact, but your legs are full of fists.
Yeah, right. As long as your head's intact, you know what I mean? Up that fucking rap. You know what I mean? Come on!
Up that fucking rap! I say now!
Something I should.
Well, yeah, good. Best of luck for the match.
Fucking certainty, mate. Fucking pump the gypsy. This boy's getting a buck fast for the bus, right? Fucking soap dodging fox.
The police don't tend to let Rangers and Celtic play each other in the evenings anymore. They think the fans will drink all day and end up kicking each other's heads in. But, for whatever reason, tonight they'd made an exception. And with everyone well oiled, it was time to get on the bus and head to the ground. And why should the party stop just because you're barrelling down the motorway in storm weather?
I feel now for this bus driver.
Oh, yeah.
As a former school bus driver myself, having to deal with a bunch of rough and rowdy kids. Like, this is giving me flashbacks to that. And I would talk to them in the same way I would talk to those kids if I didn't fear for my life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, alcohol. Like, come on. Like, alcohol and being outnumbered.
Yeah.
I just shut up.
Yeah, replace puberty with alcohol in this scenario, and you have my former job.
Oh my God, man.
After days of talking about it with everyone I'd met, I'd finally arrived at the derby. It was fucking freezing, and I could hear fragments of forbidden songs caught in the gale winds that were whipping off the earth. I made my way through the turnstiles to see if the atmosphere in an Old Firm game was so horrible and poisonous that the government absolutely needed to step in. The mood inside was tense, but not as vile as the media and the politicians would lead you to believe. Tonight, Celtics fans went home the happier after a 1-0 win. The club were back at the top of the table. The Fenians had beaten the Huns. What is it about Glasgow that you think generates this kind of gang culture and this kind of tribalism?
It's hard to put your finger on. Glasgow's it's a crazy city at times. There's areas where you can't venture into. I think authorities have just turned their blind eye to it, basically.
Do you regret anything that you've done?
Too old to regret. You make your own bed, you've got to lie in it.
In Sandy Chugg's book, he says he identifies you as the top boy at that time.
But no,
and he talks about the Rangers fans taking the Gallowgate and stuff.
I've not read it yet, so
okay.
I will.
Have I told you what he said about you?
No.
When I pushed him, I backed him into a corner, and he said he'd be quite proud if you had grown up a Rangers fan and been a member of the ICF, because you're always a game lad, were his words.
But I'm going to get a tan. I'm going to get a fake tan like him.
You know, he said he respects you and stuff, but he said that he's suspicious about where your tan comes from. So he just spends too much time on sunbeds.
He might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think John O'Kane's seen sunlight, never mind the sunbed. I hope he's keeping well.
There's people that there's a mutual respect between, but there's other people who don't have a respect. They've just got a hatred and they want to stab you and they want to kill you and they want to do things like that. If you do them, fair enough, that's what the buzz is about. It's not about inflicting pain and harm on people. It's sort of a game. Waking up in a machine that's going beep beep, and you know when it stops going beep you're dead. You know, it's one of the scariest things that can ever happen to anybody.
Has that happened to you?
It's happened twice.
How does that affect people close to you?
It's hard to say. I think it did affect my dad quite a bit.
How about your own children and family?
Touch wood, they're good children at the moment, but I wouldn't want them getting involved in anything that I've been involved in. I want my kids to have a life that I didn't.
How about your missus or their mother?
Okay, she's... I don't know what to talk about.
Okay. Pitched street battles between gangs of screaming men might be a thing of the past in Glasgow, but there was still the issue of the chanting. Would Scottish Parliament's new bill really be able to extinguish a loathing this deep-seated?
But if you look in the context of the whole stadium, the overwhelming majority of people don't want it to do it. They want to watch the football. Neil my mouth want to help the centre majority find their voice.
There's too many people here getting offended, looking for reasons to be offended. Whether they like it or no, religious, cultural and national divide will always be here in Scotland.
After spending so many hours in the company of people whose thoughts and feelings are dominated by their football clubs, it wasn't surprising to me that I found myself taking their side. To me, it seemed patronising for people who weren't fans to take their words out of context, then insist that people should take offence to them. After the win on Derby Day, Celtics fans had celebrated as if Rangers would never be top dog again. I thought finality like that didn't exist in football, but a few weeks after the game, Rangers were forced into administration by an unpaid tax bill of £9 million. If they fail to find a rich white knight to rescue them from the financial mire, they'll die, taking the rivalry with them. Celtics fans haven't reacted to the news with much sensitivity. I saw this graffiti sprayed over the side of the Loudon bar and asked Joe Miller to explain it.
What was your immediate reaction when you heard the news that Rangers might be going bust?
Jelly and ice cream.
Yeah.
Was my immediate reaction.
Can you explain the jelly and ice cream thing for people that might not?
Well, a group of guys used to always say we're having a party when Thatcher dies, and then it kind of carried on jelly and ice cream when Thatcher died, and then we went a wee bit further and went, let's have it when Rangers die. So jelly and ice cream when Rangers die. Yeah. Pass the parcel when Rangers die. All that kind of stuff. Good natured.
Yeah, jelly and ice cream, that's quite appropriate for Celtic, isn't it? Well, everybody knows about the cover-up of the child abuse in the early 70s with Jock Stein and the directors allegedly.
What would happen to this pub if Rangers went out of business?
I would think we would probably closely follow them.
How has the kind of financial troubles the Rangers have found themselves in, and how has that kind of affected the mood in the city?
Well, obviously one half's delighted, another half it's been like a death in the family. I have a few close Celtic fan mates and a few acquaintances, and it's been relentless. It's been, really bad.
I mean, how big a hole would it leave in your own life if Rangers were to go to the wall?
A massive gaping hole. I've always grown up, always think there'll always be a Rangers for my kids, for my grandkids. 140 years of history, we're not going to give that up all that easy. We will fight to the bitter death, but as we say, I'll follow, and I'm sure a great deal of many thousands will continue to follow as well. No surrender.
Would you miss them if they went bust?
Miss who?
Rangers.
Miss who? Loving Celtic doesn't mean anything about Rangers. Nothing about Rangers. Loving Celtic only means loving Celtic.
So I would miss the Old Firm games. To me, that's the biggest game you can get. To me, without a Rangers-Celtic game, there's nothing in Scottish football.
I went to Glasgow an outsider, and I still am an outsider, but I understand the rivalry enough to know that the cliched black and white idea people have of the Old Firm is just ridiculously wrong. There's no doubting that some pretty hateful things have been done in the name of the rivalry, but while it's still here, it certainly makes Glasgow life richer. Savage it may be, but it's become part of the city's humour, Fans here have spent so long trying to get under each other's skin that the rivalry is now embedded beneath the skin of the city. And Glasgow is a city with a very thick skin.
You know,
right?
I like that. I like what he said. I want to say the perfect analogy is like the Joker to their Batman. You choose who's who, but it's like without Batman, or without Joker, there wouldn't be a Batman. Without Batman, like with Joker, like it's that duality. It's like the heads of a coin, tails of a coin.
Among the greatest sports rivalries of all time.
Yep.
In America, it's Cowboys versus Commanders, as it were. There's so many others that I could name right now, but this is the one that we have. I feel like I'm coming out of this having a much better appreciation for the rivalry and what it means to Scottish football and the city of Glasgow as it is.
Yeah, it's to be taken as a whole, because who are we to judge any one side? Like, you know what I mean? There's 140 years of history. Like, what the hell are we gonna? You know what I mean? This is they should be able to allow to football themselves,
right?
You know what I mean? Like and I feel like they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. They're figuring it out slowly. It's. Hey, I think it's just the evolution of football, and as things get up in their age, they tend to go through changes. And listen, on my history journey of the football clubs, almost every team out there went through close to financial ruin, like on a high level. And some of them didn't make it out, but a lot of them were bought by other outside entities, which are causing the culture to change. But that's a broader statement.
Right. And that happened to Rangers, right? Because Rangers are still around. Like they didn't go under.
Nope. I think they got rescued.
They did.
Because I don't know how old this is. How old is this Vice thing?
Sometimes the Vice channel will upload these like a couple of years after they were made. So this was uploaded in 2012. So this is 11 years old.
Yeah. So yes. Rangers are still around then.
Yeah, they're still around now.
So, but it's interesting to see because we can only judge this from an outsider's perspective, really. Like, man, they're my thoughts, but it's kind of like the thoughts I have lead to a big soapbox, and then it's like, how can you talk about something when you're an outsider where it doesn't? That's for them.
Right. And while you're an outsider, I mentioned at the beginning of this, and I have every right to cut this part out if we sit on it. Me personally, if my mom was still married to my stepdad, who was a Catholic, and I was still married to my ex-wife, who was also a Catholic, I may side with Celtics. And in fact, I've released a cover of Fields of Athenry. But because both of them have done me wrong, and my source is a Rangers fan, I am a Rangers fan. And Celtics fans, you're still welcome on the channel. We still love you.
Yeah.
We'll still be here. Yeah. So that's my allegiance. Yeah. And my sources told me our friendship is basically, if I'm a Celtics fan, I'm dead to this person.
Oh my God. Well, personally, I hate the Boston Celtics. Just
all right.
NBA reference.
There you go.
That's just all I have, which is shouldn't even be brought up in the same breath as the football club. But I'm just letting you guys know. Yeah, there's no dog in this fight. The team out of my hat was, what was it? West Ham.
West Ham, yeah. Mine was Man City.
Yes, so there you go.
So now it's split between them and Rangers. So,
but I think the documentary actually did a good job sticking in the middle.
It was quite unbiased. I mean, I feel like it was a little more biased towards Celtics fans because that's where the party was in that end scene.
Yeah.
But if you really wanted to do it, he would have spent time at a party of both sides. Yeah. But I guess Vice's budget really didn't allow it. So
it's still a 45-minute, pretty fair documentary.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty fair.
Yeah.
For that reason, 2 thumbs up.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I personally, as an outsider, I would just do the game a massive sign of respect and just not go.
Yeah, I only would go if my source would talk to their source and build a cocoon around me
like a
to
police
be
escort.
sure. Yeah, get a police escort and go out and hire like VIP box if they have those there.
Well, if you think about it, from what the guy said, is like the atmosphere inside the stadium wasn't bad. It was all about the game.
Yeah.
Now or then, 2012. My God, that's crazy. But and that's kind of where it's changing. It's like now it's just game focused, and it's I know from just commentary on my videos that I posted, it's becoming more commercialized. So it's like losing that tribal. There's still going to be tribalism. That's just just how it is. But the influx of money coming from other places, the over commercialization is starting to creep in, especially to like Premier League, and it's diluting that. I would say the tribalism a little bit, but there are still people that fight tooth and nail for their club, and I respect that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Case in point, these two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these two, like you need both sides of the coin to make it interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
You need that.
Makes it interesting. It makes makes the culture rich.
Yeah, but no, this was great. I'm down for this. This was nice, man. This was nice.
Yeah, y'all let us know what you think down below. And let me and Celtics fans let me know how much you hate me now.
Yes. And
if you could set that aside, there's somewhere around to subscribe and watch another video.
Yes.
In the meantime, wash your hands, scrub your toes, wipe your ass, blow your nose, embrace the suck.
Unplug and do something epic, guys.
See you next time.
Later.
Fellas, we could be that mistake. Let's do this.